Hey guys, so Northwest Racing Series this year has decided to try a couple of road courses that you normally wouldn't see in NASCAR. And one of those is Laguna Seca. So I figured I would run through a lap how I do it at Laguna Seca in the ARCA car, just to give you guys some pointers as you're practicing. So here's the lap, and then afterwards we'll talk about a couple of things and look at some things that I'm looking for while I'm running. So here you go. All right, that is the lap. It's a 130.571. It's the best lap I've done so far. So let me walk you through a couple of things that I'm looking for while I'm doing this, while I'm running. So coming down the straight, full throttle. Before we get started, couple general things about road courses. First thing is you want to use all of the track that you possibly can. So before corners, get out to the opposite side. So if you put your car out here, you're going to have more room to turn in when you're going around corners. And I'll show you what I mean on the next corner up here. But use all of the track as possible. And then trail braking, which is leaving just a tiny bit of brake on while you're continuing through the corner, just helps the car rotate so much better than letting off the throttle. It seems like you're slowing down too much, but a lot of the best lap times feel really slow. So as you're coming up this, we're going full throttle, we're coming up. We get to the top of the hill. A normal line for a GT3, an open wheel car, something like that, it's going to be all the way out here to the left. But every time I've tried that, I've spun out because the car gets so light at the top of the hill, it's just hard to save. So I'm staying out here to the right. I'm full throttle till I get to the top of the hill. I'm letting off the gas to about 50% just to get some weight on those front tires and so it can turn and not kick the back end around and into the wall, which has happened quite a few times. So heading down here, staying off to the right, getting back in the throttle a little bit, and then I'm wanting to set up these left-handers here. These two left-handers are, the early in the lap, they're a very important corner for getting the rest of the early lap in at the best time possible. So you see we're braking at about the, between these two lines. Once I get past this first line, I'm looking to put on the brake. It's a heavy braking zone, about 85% brake there for a bit. Tracking out. Now, see, I'm out here as far as I can get. I've got another foot or so that I could be out even farther because you could get out here on these lines and use this out here. This is a little bit of pavement. You won't get an off track, and you can use this. So tracking out here, and then I'm wanting to hit this apex right here, and stay tight as I can to this apex. And then same thing on this one. I want to stay tight to this apex and just rotate the car through there as tight as you can stay in there. You notice trail braking. So I'm off the brakes. I've got a little bit of brake on it, and you can see just, 4 or 5% brake, but I'm rolling through the corner, and then I'm picking up the gas. I'm letting off the brake. So there's no rolling in this corner at all. And what I'm kind of looking for is to get the car turned around about this pole here, maybe a little before that. And I'm getting back on the gas. I'm rolling the throttle back in. And I'll talk about that too. So coming through there, and I'll kind of go through the cockpit one more time through there so you can kind of see that. So hard on the brake, track it out, staying tight, trail braking, and then I'm back into gas there. So this next corner, I'm going to track out again. I'm going to get as far left as I can. Not very heavy braking, so you just kind of want to just slow the car down. Staying on that trail braking, though. And then once I get around this corner, I could have cut that apex a little tighter. You want to put your car right on this red strip. You don't want to hit it, and you'll see in a minute what happens. But you don't want to hit it, but you want to be as tight as you can. And then Souvenir Superstore. When my car's pointed at that Souvenir Superstore, I'm rolling back in the throttle. You have to roll back in the throttle on these. If you slam it while you're still rotating, your car's just going to keep rotating and it's going to go into the wall. So you see I'm 50% throttle here. And then once I get finished with that rotation enough that it's not going to keep going around, I'm back in the throttle full. Another, slight braking zone here. Just rolling into it about this line. Quarter throttle, quarter brake. Same thing, just letting it roll and then picking up the gas. Looking at those buildings on the top of the hill there. Once I'm pretty pointed towards those, and I can get back in the throttle. And I'm back full. Coming down here. This is a corner you can carry quite a bit of speed in. Starting to pick the brake up. You see I'm picking the brake up before I let the throttle out. Kind of a bad habit. But I'm picking it up just about where that break in the wall is, and then I'm heavy on it at about the, right before the 4. Little heavy brake, track it out. You see how far I get out here. Tracking out, and then I'm trying to hit this apex here. You can probably late apex this one a little bit just because it's such a long turn. And then you can get more speed going up this hill. So we're up this hill. This next corner is so much fun if you hit it right. So between the 3 and 4, I'm braking. I get an initial, point of pretty good brake, and then I'm off of it pretty quick. This one, and it's the same thing. You want to hit this apex with your tires just outside of that red thing, and you'll see here, I don't do that. I actually hit it just a little bit, but it upset the car just enough that I had to just briefly come off the throttle. So it would, it doesn't take a lot of time out of your lap, but it's enough that see how the car bounces there? And it was enough that I had to come off the throttle just a little bit and catch it. And we'll see that here in a second. You listen to my throttle input here. So I wanted to get on the throttle as I'm coming through there, but when I hit it, I had to pause just for a second. So that cost me just a little bit of time. But like I said, you can roll that corner. You can come through there pretty good. So tracking out here, and then I'm getting back to the left as soon as I can, bringing the car to the left and setting up for the corkscrew. So one of the craziest corners on the service, I think. So you want to be on the left side, and if you're on the left, you can pretty much straight line it all the way through until you want to turn into the corkscrew. So I'm on the left. I'm staying on this rumble strip here. I'm hitting the brake just towards the end of it. Starting to roll into the brake, and then I'm heavy braking at the end of it here. And I'm in a straight line braking, heavy braking, and then you see I'm rolling off it, but I still got a pretty decent amount of brake in. And then what you want to do is you want to turn in, and you can hit this dirt here. And I could have taken a little more dirt. Actually, I had about a foot more that I could go and not get an off track. So hit that. And then as soon as you're through there, you're off the brake and you're on the throttle as soon as you start going down the hill. And you can actually hit that apex too there pretty good. I missed it a little bit, but you can still hit that, and then that helps you get the corner there. So we're down the hill, back in the throttle, and then this corner, I tracked out here. I've done it both ways. You can track out or you can stay in the middle. Both ways seem to work. It doesn't seem to cost much time. I tracked out this time, and you want to see I'm out of the throttle. So this is one of the parts where you're actually kind of rolling, letting the car roll a little bit. You can see I just for a brief minute give it a little bit of brake, and no, hardly any throttle. Then I'm back in the throttle. I want to hit this apex. I did not this time, but it still didn't cost me much. Another one where you're tracking out, rolling in the brake at just before the pavement changes right there. Another one where it's the banking of the corner helps right here, so you can carry quite a bit of speed through this one. This one I hit the apex just about perfect. You can see there that I'm just got my tires on the rumble strip, but not on the red. And then we're rolling out here, getting back to the right, getting over as far as I can. Going to use this rumble strip. I got another couple inches, but I did that pretty darn well. And then braking at about the 3, heavy braking, shift down to first. Another thing is I'm in second gear from when I go down the corkscrew all the way to here. I don't change out of second gear. So I run that whole thing in second gear, and it seems to work. So heavy braking. This is one of the slower corners on here. Another one where you just want to hit that, and you could probably turn in a little bit later than I did and late apex this one and pick up a little more time. And then as soon as you get that car turned and straight, then back in the throttle and down the front straightaway. So that is a lap around Leguna Seca. That's kind of what I'm looking for in a lap. And while I'm out on the track, that's the things I'm looking for. So hit me up on Discord if you got any questions. And if not, we'll see you out there on track. All right. Have a good night.